ma'am, in case there are some strange noises. And I will just hand over and mute myself and go away into a corner. All yours.
Right, we're back in the monastery, and I'm going to be working mainly on this area here to sketch in what I want, but I am going to put some of this in here first. I'm not going for the bright color I've got there. This is over at the side. It is a light color, but I don't want it to attract the eye too much. So I'm going for more this sort of color. That seems a bit bright, actually. Take it off. Let's try this sort of color. Yeah. Or just to get it in, really, as much as anything else. This on top here is not a cross, as you might think. It's actually a chimney, believe it or not. Took a bit of believing when we were actually there, so I don't know how you're going to get on trying to believe it now. This area is light here, and this is light here. They're not, they're just there. It's not intended to be particularly. I just want to get something in there so that I'm not bothered about it as it goes. Now, I got a much nicer picture out of Justin, which shows what is happening around here. There's a sort of garden with some rocks here leaning against the wall. I don't know if they're rocks or knowing the place, it probably is rocks. One of the things I'm going to do is to take that down a bit because it's a bit too evident, a bit too bright. We don't want it that bright. Right, so we've got some rocks here. There's one around about here. I want a lighter color than that. What have I got? This is sort of creamy white, okay. It's lighter on the top. And there's a streak down there. And next to it is a bit of a light bit. Right. Then we have a rock here. It's not going to cut it. It's too dark, actually. That's a better color. And then this one is more of a gray color, so a bluey gray. I've got this color here. They're sports of some kind. That is too big a contrast. It's really drawing attention to it, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going over that with the creamy color, just so that it doesn't shriek too much. And again, if I use, no, that wouldn't do. That do? That might do. This is more of a pale green, so it just doesn't seem to fight with the picture quite so much. And then over here, there's another sandy colored one there, which really shows up against the background rather nicely. And now we can have a bit of fun with the greenery because there's lots of greenery. Oh, that's a bit bright, isn't it? Okay, so I go over him again with a bit of this, just to take him down a bit. I find if I get them in where they are, I find I go fiddle with them when I'm not thinking, if you see what I mean. And that sort of helps. All right. think these are actually rose bushes, but nobody's going to tell you at this stage of the game. I think there's ivy growing up that wall. There. Quite a dark shape behind this boulder, which really brings out the shape of the boulder, which curves a bit there. I'm just assuming there's a bit of wetness on this area here. Get the other green, which is still quite dark. Because this is all in shadow here, in the gloom. These colors are still a bit bright. I'll have to do something to knock them back when I get around to it, so to speak. Now, I want that to be quite a crisp edge. I can add that in later. I think I need another green. I don't think I've got one. I think that is probably the same. It is. Okay, so I can't find a green. I'll find something else. I'll go in with the ochre. Right, around here. Using the side of the pastel to get the shape. And it gives a bit of variation as it comes and goes across there. This area here. Refer to the other picture. Ah, well, there's something in the middle of the fountain there. Presumably it's a fountain. Do you remember that, Rachel? You do? Right, okay. Okay, so there's something here which is at the moment quite blocky and dark, and it covers there. Oh, this is why I like pastels. Now, this can be dressed afterwards once I've got worked out what it is that I'm actually doing with the various faces. This is still far too bright. It needs to be knocked back in some way. Not quite sure how I'm going to do that. Well, yes, I am. Where are we? It's the side of the, basically burnt sienna. Do you remember, if you want a mute green, you put a bit of red with it. Well, basically that's what I've done there. Again, this is too raggedy to be left, but we'll sort that out later. Now we have quite a bright area around the fountain. I could just go like that, but it never looks nice if you do that. This is built of rocks, and there are different colors. So I'm bringing in bits of other colors to suggest the curve of the fountain. Don't get too light over there. The light is here. Add a little bit of, I'm using a bit of ochre here to get that light shape. And then it goes a little bit darker. What did I use? Did I use that one? Yeah. As it goes towards the edge, I want to just darken it a bit because I don't want to draw attention to over there. So there we are. Right, now then, underneath that rim is quite a dark edge there. And I think this is probably some kind of, oops, lichen. I've lost it there, so I'll put it back. Oh, the beauty of pastels. And the area underneath, I think that's far too dark. But if I take some light and work into it, behold, the half has not told you. Right, just put a little bit on that side to build up that shape a bit. That's working on nicely. Right, so we need this at the front to be a bit brighter, to show up. And again, I don't want to make it a straight line. Okay, now, this round here is quite dark. I found my really dark. I've got a really dark brown. Okay, so if we bring this down here, what I'm looking for is an edge on the pastel. If I had a bit of sandpaper, I could manufacture one. Finding one is not too difficult. And I can always put the other thing back afterwards. It's not very difficult to do. Come on, you. Yeah. Right. Now work on top of that a bit. Take this green. That's a bit bright. So I'll go over it with, ooh, that's purple. You never know what you pick up, do you? Right. Try this. Right. Okay. Okay. Right. Now, I think I'm going to assume that this has got lichen on it. I don't like the brown. The brown is too lively. I think there's probably a bit of light catching the top of that. Maybe. And right. Okay. Right. Now, what are we going to do? Oh, we've got this bit to do. More of the same. Let's vary it a bit. I'll take this. Now, this isn't so deep. This is fairly clear. And I think I'll bring a bit of the ochre in there, if I can find the ochre. That's too dark. It must be this one. Yeah, that's it. Just to bring some of that color further down into the picture. It's a bit bright at the moment, but it's not going to stay, so let's not get too excited about it. Over here, it goes quite dark. Some of it green, some of it just dark. I've got a dark blue. Some dark blue. That's a dark green. If we take that just nudging the pastel to make the shape. And then sort of tail off the Enterprise as you go over there, because you don't want that to be too evident. Pull this down a bit. Push this up a bit. How are we doing? Again, the beauty of pastels is that you can just go over things if you've got them wrong. It's not a big problem. This is quite a nice spiky bush. So let's make it look a bit bushy. It just sort of vanishes into the black here. Don't want to have too much sort of plant shapes over here. This is unimportant. So I'm not putting in any great detail there. And there are plants here. I think I'll have to lift that plant a little bit to make it. Just add a bit of brightness to it there. Put a bit of light on, which has two effects. One is it dulls the green down a bit because I'm using a very bluey green. I don't want to get it into the really bright greens if I can avoid it. That's too much. So knock it back a bit. There we are. this area here is really dark. That helps to push this building forward a bit. Right, now then, here we've got a great patch of lights, whoops, coming in here, which sort of comes down here. That might not be bright enough, but we'll see how we get on. Doesn't go down there. That is a less intense color. Have I got a less intense? I can't even find that color. Maybe that one. Or is that the same thing? No. Oh, that's in the wrong box, that one. This might be. Okay, it's a subtle difference. It's a difference without being too exciting a difference. That patch of light, where's my bit of light? I tell you, put it down, you lose it. Here we are. This patch of light comes around here too. There is quite a bright green here. Again, that's not staying. It's just to give the start to the color. I work on top of that with the darker of the two. It immediately knocks it back so that it is less intense. I'm using the pastel to spread the paler greens so that we get an effect. It's still a bit too stripy, but that can be. Attended to. Now we have round here a bit of a shadow. So it's not a very strong shadow, is it? It is a shadow, but if we not something I do very often. Blending with my finger. It doesn't do to be too dogmatic about what you will and won't do. That's something I learned painting the bridges. A number of misconceived prejudices I had when I started was diminished by the end of the project. Right, now, if I use that pastel, it's not going to show up a lot actually because the paper is more or less this color. I bet you can't see that at all. It is there. And whatever you do, don't leave, even if what you're doing is doing what I was doing, putting on the color that's there, don't leave the paper. The paper will fade. The pastel will not. Now, I got a bit of a problem here because that is brighter than that. I'm not sure that that's what I want to do. However, let us continue. I think one of the things I want to do is to break up that line there. And it needs a bit of highlight on that wall. So just a tiny little bit, but it does, it's irregular. Just makes the wall visible a little bit more. I think it might be an idea if we did this similar sort of thing here. Got a bit undifferentiated there. Right. Well, I didn't expect to finish today anyway, so that's all right. I think I'm going to have to make more of this in some way, this area here. So let's see what I've got to. And of course, if you want something to lie down, you've got to make it darker or lighter as you want. And because there's a patch of light there, it makes sense to make the front darker. Now again, that is too quick a join, so let's calm the join down a bit. And maybe increase the light here. If we increase the light. Right. Now where's that green again? Pink. I'm going to have to clean my pastels. They've got covered with the colors on my hand when I use them. And makes it difficult to see what color you've got. all I'm doing is changing the colors slightly so that there's a bit more interest in the foreground here than there was before. That's not exactly the right color for the light, but it's telling me it's there, which is useful. It's still a bit too stripy. It needs to be broken up a lot more. So that's what I will do. I think there's a bit more, we add a bit of dark around here. Exaggerate the shadow of this a little bit. Pretend there's some reason for shadow down here, that will help. I'm not quite sure what's going on up here. Right, I've seen all kinds of places where I want to do things. Right, okay, this is going to take time. Right, there's a streak of light there. Not light, but enough to suggest the end of one building. And the start of the next. And this one's got quite a dark patch at the top of it. Again, if I exaggerate it too much, it will I think I took that too dark. So I'll make it light. So I'm basically playing on now with what's there. Hard to know what's going on up in this corner here. I don't think it matters very much. But, we'll see. There is, in fact, a little jet of water coming up there, which I think I'll miss out because it's too far over the edge of the picture, I think. I'm not entirely happy with what's happened here, but I can either take it out, which is not difficult, get a brush, and jag at it vertically, takes it off. The puffs of what's underneath. Sometimes that's enough, you know, you don't need to do anymore. In effect, what you're doing is blending. Sure, that doesn't look better. There's something here not right. I suppose I better end, hadn't I? Well, I'll be doing something about that next week, and making this warmer, this fountain or pool or whatever it was. It wasn't warmer, it was actually rather cold, but I think I want a nicer picture than that, so I'll warm it up somehow. Okay, I'll stop there for today and hope that I will finish it next week.